In this episode, we are giving you the 3 key tips for successful podcast production. LiLiCAST is a complete tool that allows you to perform all the steps of creating and managing podcasts directly through its podcast web app. It is accessible on computers and smartphones and provides an intuitive and user-friendly interface. You don't need to be a professional to create your podcast on the subject you are interested in and share it on the internet. However, the different stages of podcast production are all important and should not be overlooked or neglected. We give you our 3 essential tips to make the production of your podcast a success. Firstly, prepare your podcast in advance. Don't rush to record your podcast. Preparation is the key to a successful production afterwards, and therefore, you should create an interesting podcast. If your content is too messy, it will be reflected in your audio file, and the audience will not listen until the end. Keep in mind that the quality of the content and the way it is recorded are fundamental to the success of your podcast. On the LiLiCAST app, the text editor is integrated to create your content directly before saving it. If there are several of you working on it, you can work together on the same file. All you have to do is add your guest. Whether you are recording your audio alone or with others, remember to record well from beginning to end. It doesn't matter if there are blanks, omissions, babbling. You can edit and mute your audio once it's recorded. It is also possible to start over if it really doesn't work. Training once may be good to get an idea of the final result, but following recordings will never be as spontaneous as the very first one. Hence our advice: record all the speeches from the first try and then arrange the production of your podcast like you want. Lastly, on the LiLiCAST app, you can add photos, GIFs, text, and bring your podcast to life. This is very important to attract the attention of internet users and to create or expand your audience. LiLiCAST allows you to create real added value during the production of your podcast, and you will be able to stand out from the competition thanks to animated visuals that say more about the subject of your podcast. Remember to choose the visuals and text carefully, as they must be explicit and attractive to catch the audience's eye and arouse the curiosity of internet users. For example, you could show a question on screen which you are replying to on the audio, or add an illustration providing a clue to the answer. It is up to you to produce the podcast that looks like you. As you will have understood, podcast production goes through different stages and none of them should be ignored. A qualitative and effective podcast must be well prepared to provide complete and clear content. Recording everything from the first try will give you enough material to edit your audio as you want and create attractive teasers. Do not neglect the communication around your podcast. The LiLiCAST podcast app allows you to illustrate your podcast directly after creating them. Then there is only the one last and essential step, the publication of your podcast. Discover all the publication possibilities that LiLiCAST can offer you, whether on your website, your blog, or your social networks.